Hey guys, so we are just getting started in the new year, so I wanted to offer you some fresh ideas on how to sell your home here in Oregon in 2024. Now we're going to cover this unique market, so this isn't some standard video talking head that tells you what ChatGPT told them to say, but we're going to cover what this market is predicted to be this year and things that you need to be aware of as a seller in 2024 so you aren't shocked when you start this process. For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Joe Skipper and I'm the owner of Skipper Realty Group, brokered by eXp Realty out of Oregon. And today we're going to go into a bit about today's market and what trends are predicted for it and what sellers particularly should know before listing their home in today's market. And if you haven't already, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, I would truly appreciate it. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the latest on the Oregon housing market so that you can make the best financial decisions for you and your family, then consider subscribing to my page. I put out content regularly so that you can be more successful, not only as a buyer and a seller on a personal level, but also as an investor as well. Okay, if you're thinking of selling this year or are for sure wanting to sell, then you need to pay attention to this video. If you have heard me talking in other videos over and over and over, then you will already know that I say that this market is constantly changing. And the market in Oregon is not necessarily acting like the national market trends are. So what you hear on CNN or what you hear on Fox News is not going on in our market particularly, though there are some similarities. So let's dive into this and see what is happening in the market and a couple things that I would do as a seller if I was going to list my home this year. Now, generally speaking, it's a good news scenario for both buyers and sellers this year. Most, if not all, market predictions are saying that interest rates are gonna steadily drop throughout the year and be generally in the mid sixes by the end of the year. Now, there are more aggressive predictions that are saying it will be even lower, but overall, this is good news for everyone involved in the buying and selling process. Now, naturally, people think of what they can afford for a home as the price they can afford on a home. Maybe 500K, 750K. Now, whatever that number is good to know, but it's not the whole story. And interest rates really drive buyers' purchasing power versus just the home price. So here's an example of what I mean by that. So say a buyer came into the market during COVID, and let's say they were already pre-approved for a mortgage at $500,000. Now their interest rate was 3.5% because that's what it was back then. Now these are general numbers, so don't quote me on any of this stuff, but here is how interest rates change the affordability of a home big time. So this home at that rate and a standard 20% down payment would put their monthly payments around $1,796 per month. Now let's change it up a bit and go to when rates were at 8%. That would have bumped their mortgage payment to $2,935 per month. Now I'm not a mathematician, but that's over $1,000 a month higher than before. And that changed nothing but the interest rates. The price of the home stayed exactly the same. But let's nerd out a bit more and use that same 20% down and that same interest rate of 3.5%, and let's go up by $100K in the price of the home. Now that monthly payment would then be $2,155 per month. That's only a few $100s more per month for a home that cost $100K over that initial sales price. Now what I'm trying to show you here was show that the price of the home is a factor, but not nearly as much of a factor as an interest rate drop or a bump. That's why in COVID you saw people that could offer $100K over asking for the price of the home. Their monthly payment only changed slightly at their amazing interest rate that we had back then. So when rates went super high last year, it priced buyers out big time. Now it wasn't that there were no buyers out there, but that they were kicked in the gut once the rates shot up. Now this also caused sellers that bought in the good times to be like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm not selling my home to get into a home at an 8% rate now. Now as the interest rates are coming back down, buyers are able to afford again, and sellers are more willing to leave their home as that rate gets closer to the one that they have initially. Now this is healthier overall than in the past in my personal opinion. But as a seller, you need to know a few things before going into this market because it really could cost you thousands of dollars and tons of stress if you don't. Now the first thing you must do if you are thinking about selling this year is to get your home valued by someone who actually knows what they're doing. Now an expert real estate agent is gonna give you a value on your home that is a current market value for today's market particularly. They look at all sorts of things to do this that we can go into another time, or you can text or call and I'd be happy to go over it. But they should give you a good price to list your home at for what's going on real time in the market. Now, this seems obvious to some of you, but sometimes people buy their home and they stop looking at the housing market because it's boring. And who wants to do that when they don't really have to? Then they talk about getting back into the market, and they go off a value that maybe they figured out on Zillow, or their buddy that just sold a few months ago and said, hey, my house is pretty much the same as yours. It's a terrible idea to price your home or list your home without guidance from someone that lives and breathes the real estate industry. Not a part-time agent or your friend that sold their home by themselves. Every home is different and every scenario is different. Anyways, biggest thing I can suggest to you, even if you don't like them or you had a bad experience with an agent before, is to get with someone that you can trust to help you on pricing your home accurately. Pricing is the #1 key to getting you the highest return on your home. There are all sorts of things you can do to improve the value in it, like staging, photography, painting, etc. But pricing it right the first time is going to be the most impactful for the value of your home. With these rates coming down, expect to see more buyer activity in the near future. Now, this is a great thing for sellers, and it's a good thing for buyers to be able to afford a home again. But remember, this isn't COVID times, so expect as a seller to have to consider the buyer's needs as well as your own. It's been more and more common for the seller to offer, say, closing cost concessions, contingencies on the buyer selling their home first, and some other more creative options that buyers have come up with recently to be able to afford a home. Now, this does not mean you are getting ripped off as a seller. It just means that we're entering into a market that is more balanced, where both parties have the right to ask for things in the sale that they previously couldn't before. This is going to be an interesting year with the national election coming up at the end of it and rates currently dying down. So if you are in the market to sell, have these things in mind when you're getting to it, and you'll be set up to get the highest return on your home when you do decide to list. If you have any questions about selling this year, give me a call and we can talk about your specific home and your needs. Also, if you want a buyer's and seller's guide sent right to you, shoot me a DM and I'll get that over to you right away. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my page so that you can stay up to date with the latest on the Oregon housing market. Thanks, guys.